let me see on. All right. All right. There we go. Hey guys. Hey Flying Medic. Let me where's the comment? Oh, it shows there we go. Okay, wait. Wide? No, we don't want wide. Right. We wanted big. Right. We wanted big and tall. All right. That's good. Let me get Instagram going. You're briefly Madonna. I like Madonna's pretty good though. I haven't known any Madonnas, so to speak. All right. Now Substack. Here we go. So I can see the Substack comments. Oh, hey, NJ. We do have Substackers here today. Excellent. Excellent. All right, 1 second, guys. Where's my... There you are. There you are. Hey, guys. All right, getting everything adjusted here. All right, good. I've got the Substackers. I've got Discord. We've got YouTube. And now let me start TikTok. And we're pretty good, actually. Once I get TikTok going, I should be good. All righty. Oop, where is that? What is going on with this? Oh, that's weird. My screen is like super big on... Oh, that's Instagram. Hey, Instagram. All right. Sorry, let me get my subs... Oh, there's my Substack. All right. There's Substack. Hey, Substack. Substack's frozen? Shit, I was afraid Substack was going to do this. Damn it. Damn it, damn it, damn it. All right, is everybody... I'm not frozen for everybody else, I'm assuming, on YouTube and everywhere else. Just Substack? Damn it. Oh, damn Substack. Can you guys hear me? Oh, there it is. Oh, I must have pushed the button somehow. Oh, that was weird. Oh, I can... Wait, it looks like it's moving for me. Substack? It's moving on my... Did I pause it? Okay, I must have paused it. I didn't know... Yeah, I can pause... Oh, my God. Somehow I paused the video on Substack. I have no idea. Weird. All right. Anyway, all right, we're back. These are the things like you learn as you go along, you know? Very strange stuff. All right, this is good. I have no idea how I did that. All right, let me get TikTok going and then we're good. All right, TikTok's going live. I may do a little more light here even though I don't like it. There we go. TikTok is going live and we are good. Twitch should already be live. Yep. Twitch is back. Yeah, that's really weird. I have no idea how I did it. Somehow I paused it everywhere. I have no idea how. Hello, what do you want to play now? Honest to God, now? Like, oh my God. Look at this one. Now she wants to play. Someone's feeling better, by the way. You can see, oh, hang on. Oh, I don't want to like totally mess with it. Someone's feeling much better, as you can see. Her back legs are feeling much better. Sasha, I can't play right now. I know. I know. Iran. There you go. Jeez. No, she is feeling better, thank God. Her legs are so much better now. But now she's like I'm awake. She had her morning nap. She gets up, she does her business, she eats, and then she goes to bed for 3 hours and then wakes up and she's like ready to go. So now it's wake up time and she's ready to play. Oh my God, insane. Now you want more water? Let me give her some. I'll make sure she's got water and then let's get rolling, guys. You're crazy. You are a crazy dog. You know that? There you go. All right. Oh my God, you're absolutely crazy. No, she's feeling, her limp is pretty much gone for now, knock on wood. She had 2 months, my poor dog, 16-year-old dog was limping for 2 months and I was like, oh God. Oh my God. Anyway, all right, guys, welcome. John Aravosis here. Yeah, we've got a ton of Iran updates. A ton of Iran updates. So let me just get my camera set up here for. Hang on, it's touching again, and I don't like when it does that. There we go. All right, now we're copacetic. I like that word. Copacetic is a great word. So, mass shooting in Texas. Oh, there you go. You know, mass shootings. I gotta tell you, I don't consider them news anymore in this country, unfortunately. They're terrible things, but, you know, if I were after hits, yeah, Supano. If I were, I say Pano, maybe your last name, I guess, if I could even call you by your last name. Lots of news updates, guys. So Texas, forget it. I'm not doing a mass shooting. We're in the middle of Ukraine. That's what we're talking about today. So The latest news from Ukraine. The latest news from Iran is that 3 U.S. service members were killed, 5 injured. The thinking is, from what we're hearing, that they may have been on an American base that was hit by Iranian missiles. We had seen indications yesterday. Really? We had seen indications yesterday that some of the emergency response folks that deal with casualties, to contact families and that kind of stuff, were activated, but I didn't mention it because I didn't want to get into rumors. But obviously was true. So at least 3 service members were killed. The Iranians, I basically took a ton of clippings last night and this morning. I like to sort of, for my show, I do a show every Monday to Friday, 6 o'clock Eastern, latest news. And I like to sort of take clippings with my phone and my iPad. I just find good stories, clip them, like do a screenshot, and then go through them later and organize it. I grabbed a ton of clippings from last night and this morning that I can, basically, I'll just go through with you guys. And we'll sort of go through the news, the latest updates. Dog wanted to go wander around. She's going to eat, oh my God, she's going to eat more crap. Oh, she drives me crazy. Anybody who's not familiar with my show, I have a dog. And she kind of is the co-star. So we do talk about serious stuff, but we also have to deal with my dog's antics. And she's on the balcony eating again. Hey, all right. Hey, come on. I mean, granted, I did sweep the balcony so she can't eat. She likes to eat dirt and plants and then gets, oh, hey, thank you. Oh, thank you for the Corgi Blue. Thank you, Big Hawk, for the pony. Sorry, I see BB with the pop. Tammy, there are a lot of gifts came in. Thanks, guys. Didn't mean to blow you guys off there. All right, let me just get her in here. Hey! Hey! Come on. Now she's like, hello, hello, all right. No, we were just out there. She just wanted to go out and eat more plants. All right, let's get rolling. So a lot of news since yesterday. What we learned today, so you guys know that Iran's supreme leader, the Ayatollah, was killed. That was confirmed. The interesting aspect of that story today, we now know that it was the CIA that identified where he was. The CIA identified there was going to be a meeting yesterday morning, of the Ayatollah, the defense secretary, the intelligence chief, the head of the Revolutionary Guard. Amazing, the collection of people they had. It was akin to, they were saying it was akin to the president, the chief of staff, the armed forces chief of staff, the defense secretary, the head of intelligence. Like all the top people were meeting. And the U.S. informed the Israelis, and the Israelis then took them out. I think because the U.S. didn't want to, it's kind of against the law for the U.S. to go after a head of state on U.S. Not that Trump cares, but even about that, apparently he cared a little bit. So the Israelis did that, and we did the rest of the bombing. The interesting thing with that story is some of the reporting today is because we found out about that meeting, that expedited Trump going in. That Trump basically saw that all the Iranian leaders were going to get together and saw it was an opportunity to take them out, and that's why he went to war yesterday. That's a little troubling, only because, either we have a justification to go to war or we don't. Let me put it this way. The story as of right now is not that, Trump was going to go to war and he was deciding which minute and then saw, the leaders were together, let's go now. That wasn't it. It was Trump was deciding whether to go to war and then saw the leaders were gathered and they all went, ooh, this is a really good opportunity, let's go to war. That's a little different, right? It would be one thing if they already said, no, we're going to war sometime in the next 5 days. Let's pick the most opportune moment to go to war. That's not apparently what they did. The fact that the Iranian leaders were assembled in one place was the thing that pushed Trump to go to war. So anyway, you get it. It's the guy that was killed. A lot of these guys are all bad. I sort of get on TikTok especially, I get into sort of, not fights, we get into little disagreements with the commenters on TikTok on my videos because a lot of them, I think they're young, and a lot of them are like, why do you say the Iranian government's bad? That's not fair. They're horrible. It's a horrible totalitarian dictatorship. Even worse, religious fundamentalist dictatorship in Iran. It's horrific. It's a combination military, religious police state. It's horrific. They recently had peaceful protests. The government killed between 6,000 and 20,000 between 6,000 and 20,000 peaceful protesters, a lot of them college kids, were murdered by the government for simply protesting. That is, I mean, Trump's bad. Trump only killed 2 people protesting in December. These guys killed 6,000 to 20,000. Pretty bad, okay? Netanyahu, we're not going to go there. I'm not going to play games. Anybody who wants to play games with Israel, you're going to get muted for the rest of the show, just so you know. We're not playing that game today. Israel has its problems. We are not going to make comparisons to what the Iranians did. We are not going to make comparisons to that. The Middle East situation, way more complicated. We've talked about this before. And we're not going to play games now because the Palestinians have killed a ton of people and the Israelis have killed a ton of people. That battle's been going on for 1,000 years, and we can have another show if you want us to talk about how many people the Palestinians have innocents they've murdered and how many people the Israelis have innocent murdered. Because both of them have killed a lot of people. And anybody who wants to play games and pretend like one side did and one side didn't, you're not going to be joining us the rest of the show. So exactly, way too complicated. No, because it's way too complicated, and I don't like it. It bothers me when people play simplistic games about the Middle East and they pretend like, oh, Israel's bad and the Palestinians are good, or vice versa. No, they're not. Both sides have done a lot of bad things over the last 100 years, and the only reason you don't know about both sides is because you're probably young and you studied one side. Both, it is very complicated. What I say is basically, and we're going to get back to Iran now, but when it comes to Israel and Palestinians, neither side has clean hands. I'm a lawyer. That's a legal expression. When you say neither side had clean hands, it means in a battle that's been going on for a while, both have done dirty things. Both have done bad things. Both have done things to make the other want to fight back. And you basically can never find the original sin to figure out who started it and who deserves it more. Because both sides, but it's unbelievably complex in a Hatfields and the McCoys kind of way. Anybody of a certain age in America will know that example. It's about an old family feud that went back forever. And actually, you do see it in sci-fi shows today. You see it in Westerns, right? My grandpa killed your grandpa, so my uncle killed your uncle, and his son killed our son. And it's this back and forth, and somebody can always point to, well, you did this, but you did this, right? And it doesn't mean either side is right, but it doesn't mean either side is wrong either. And it basically means it's a cluster F. Back to Iran. So yeah, we're not playing any more games about the Israel crap. Anybody who does that, mods, just mute them for 5 minutes or 10 minutes. We don't have to ban them, but I'm just not going to let that crap get in the way. Anybody going after Israel, you're muted, just so you know. And the same thing with the Palestinians. We're talking about Iran today. Let's not play games. All right. So basically, Trump goes in yesterday, blows the crap out of them. The Israelis blow the crap out of them. Massive decapitation strike of the Iranians. Really took out their leadership. From talking to Callum and other military folks I know, it is certainly, well, here's the thing. Clearly they're getting replaced. Oh, hey, Irene. Hey, Irene. You're okay. Well, that's okay. You and I are going to be 50-50 on this one anyway, because I'm no friend of the Iranian government. So my friend Irene is popping it on Facebook, but we don't always disagree. But we'll disagree on part of this, or we'll agree on part of this. What was I saying? With the Iranian government, the war, sorry, I'm trying to think where we're going with this. Well, let's just start again. So Trump goes in, decapitates the Iranian government. Exactly. Military friends of mine say that you're hearing two things about the decapitation, meaning taking out the Iran's leader, taking out Iran's intelligence chief, Secretary of Defense, everybody. That two things. One, you hear, well, they're going to get replaced anyway. Iran has a deep field. They've got like 4 replacements ready in line. That's true. At the same time, and Callum was talking to me about this yesterday, Callum is former British military, that it still gets incredibly confusing when you start killing military leaders and civilian leaders, because the general gives an order. Half an hour later, he's dead. Another general gives an order. Everyone starts to get confused, right? Who's in charge? Whose order? The top general had the plan. He was in all the meetings. The next guy down wasn't in all the meetings. Right? All of a sudden, for example, the top people were meeting at this meeting. They were getting the meeting yesterday morning was the top Iranian leadership. Per se, the ones in the room that got killed were the ones that were plotting everything. They were the ones that were planning everything. They were the ones figuring out the strategy. When they all got killed, all the people who knew what was going on got killed. So all of a sudden, their deputies, the people who weren't important enough to be in the room, are the ones who lived. Right? So all of a sudden, the people who lived were the people who weren't in the loop. That's not good. Or they certainly weren't as much in the loop, because if they were in the loop, they'd be in the meeting and they'd be dead. So that certainly makes it more complicated for Iran to respond, because now you got a bunch of new people going, shit, right? So that's good. So that's why these moves can be very helpful from a military perspective to take out these leaders. Now, part of the problem you get as well, Briano, you're going to be leaving us too for a little bit. Sorry. But this is part of the reason that, yeah, see, I don't like when people do shit like that. It drives me a little nuts, because it makes you sort of forget where you are. Very, very rude. I think, right, so we got the leadership decapitated. Now, part of the problem too is what people were saying today is, once you kill the top leadership, including the top guy, the Ayatollah, evil man, you make it very difficult to reach some kind of peace. So basically, the news this morning, which was crazy, is that the Israelis are hoping this war will go on for about 2 weeks. Trump is now hoping this war goes on for about 3 days. Well, you killed the Ayatollah. Good luck convincing the Iranians, okay, no harm, no foul. Let's just stop the war now, right? Right? I mean, good luck with that. I'm not convinced. I'm not convinced. I think that's going to be a little bit of an issue now for the Iranians. So that's something, that's sort of the first problem that we've got going with that. So good luck stopping the war at this point. The other weird thing is, when Trump gave his speech about the war, he said that he was looking for regime change. He wanted to overthrow the Iranian government. Now he's saying he's hoping this ends in 3 days. Well, I mean, no, right? If you're going to start a war, thank you, Ron. Sorry, I've had my coffee as we're doing this, which by annoying guy is why I'm swallowing, because I've had coffee. But also my coffee is making me a little more hyper today. So I have higher energy than usual, but I wanted my second coffee before we started the show. Yeah, 3 day up. Oh, that's good. 303 says on YouTube, it's a 3-day military operation, making fun of the Russians, saying that the war in Ukraine was going to be a 3-day operation, and it's now in its 4th year. The problem becomes, if you're going to start a war, you need to have, this is the Powell doctrine, General Powell, a very good American general with the Gulf War way back when, and the good Gulf War. Powell had a number of rules for going in for war, and I don't have them all in front of me, but the idea was clear objectives, know what you can achieve, know that you can win, enough forces to win, overwhelming force. But the point is, if you're going to start a war, you need to know what your goal is. You need to know the goal is achievable, right? A, is the goal worth it? A, what is your goal? Don't just, for example, people on Twitter today were saying, well, the Iranian leadership killed a lot of American troops over the years, so this is good. It's good they're dead, sure, right? They're evil people who killed a lot of people of their own and Americans. That's true. It is not good we started the war. Ruben Gallego, a senator, U.S. senator, Democrat from Arizona, who we've had on the show here before. Ruben's a friend. Ruben said, revenge is not a reason to go for war. And he's absolutely right. But this is important, right? Hey, Petruga, and this is important, though. We don't go to war. You might think, well, no, they killed a lot of us. We should kill them, right? You might think that makes sense. But if you put yourself in the hat of the president of the United States, we don't go to war because they were mean to us, right? We don't go to war because, well, they've killed a lot of us. We should kill them. As we've learned, if you get into a war, it could go on for 20 years. It could cost trillions of dollars, right? So you can't get involved in these things unless you know what you're getting into, right? A, getting back to Powell, what is the goal of starting the war? What are we trying to achieve? Don't just do it because you're angry, because we want revenge, because that revenge could go on for 20 years and cost trillions of dollars. And by the way, thousands of American lives, our troops. So you got to know why we're going in. Second of all, how do we win, right? A, what do you want to achieve? And B, can you achieve it? And C, is it worth achieving it? Meaning, what will it cost in terms of lives of our troops? What will it cost in terms of lives of civilians over there? What will it cost in terms of money? What will it cost in terms of time? Are we going to be stuck there 20 years? So you got to consider that with these kind of wars. What bothers me about what Trump is doing is that Trump said yesterday that we were going to go in and we're going to overthrow their government. Now he's saying, well, maybe we'll just go for 3 days. Well, which one is it, and why 24 hours into the battle you're already changing your goal? First we wanted to overthrow the government, now you're thinking 3 days? And you killed their supreme leader. Do you really think they're going to agree to 3 days ago? Oh, okay, it's no problem. I mean, maybe they will, I don't know. But you get it. It's I don't know. Let's see. I think Trump thinks he's getting a situation like Venezuela, where he went in, they kidnapped Maduro, got rid of the leader, and then it looks like the rest of the government is starting to be more friendly, right? More friendly. Carman, I don't really care. You're going to take a break right now. Sasha, you've had enough out there. No. Hey, what do you really? The dog is really enjoying the weather today. Fine, go eat leaves again. So anyway, that's a lot of the. So it's a little unclear what our goals are. I pulled a ton of articles. Let me pull this from last night and start to go through it. I want to show you this for starters. This is somewhat disturbing. The Trump people decided to share some photos. Trump is at Mar-a-Lago. I think it's a big mistake. And I'm not just saying that to be critical of Trump. If we're going to go to war, you get your ass to Washington, D.C. now. You're in the White House. He needs to do an address from the frickin' White House. He needs to sit behind the Resolute desk in the Oval Office, be president, and talk to the world and talk to the country. He's on vacation in Mar-a-Lago. It doesn't look good. Now, he could have gone to Mar-a-Lago, and this would be smart. He could have gone to Mar-a-Lago to trick the Iranians, right? He knew he was going to attack Saturday morning, maybe. And he went to Mar-a-Lago anyway because he wanted them to think, well, Trump's on vacation. He's not going to attack this weekend, and let their guard down. That would be smart. But once you bomb them, then you get your ass to Washington and be president. Right now, Trump is in Mar-a-Lago with a couple of the senior leaders, and the rest of the senior leaders, he's there with like Marco Rubio, with chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, and now everybody else is in Washington. I don't think it's smart strategically. I don't think it looks good. The other thing, Trump keeps putting out photos, trying to recreate the famous Obama photo when Obama killed bin Laden with the troops, and they keep putting out these photos. And this was one trying to show Trump. Now, they're calling this the skiff, okay? They're calling this the skiff in Mar-a-Lago. Let me explain what a skiff is. I forget what the acronym is. What's the acronym? Is it Secure Communications? I forget what the acronym SCIF actually stands for, if anybody remembers or want to Google it for me. But a skiff is a Faraday box. Any of you scientific people out there? Where basically they are rooms that are airtight, but they are also, that's exactly where we're going, Medic. They are also technology tight. Radio waves cannot go in and out, right? Oh, that's what it is. Oh, funny, Julie. Sensitive Compartmental Information Facility. Oh, that's hilarious. Because I had the clearance. My clearance was TSSCI, Top Secret Sensitive Compartmental Information. I didn't realize SCIF was based. All these years, I never knew SCIF was based on that. I had code word clearances working on arms control stuff. So I've been in SCIFs. So basically, it's a room that is constructed in a way that radio waves and no other technological waves can get through, so that nobody can spy on you. Nobody can figure out if there's a bug in there. The bug can't. Well, first, there's no bugs because they check anyway, right? That's what a skiff is. It is a secure, technologically secure room with hard walls. The walls, nothing can penetrate. And therefore, whatever you say in the room, literally nobody can hear what you're talking about. Well, the Trump people take the picture and they say, this is the skiff they set up at Mar-a-Lago so Trump can have discussions about the war and nobody can electronically eavesdrop. I want you to check out this photo. There's a lot of problems. One, White House person, first of all, I think this is inappropriate. Trump gave his speech to the nation with a baseball cap on. It's a small point. It's not presidential. As others have pointed out, he looks like your grandfather. My dad would do this. It looks goofy. It just does. I mean, this is all about optics. We're at war, whatever. Putting that aside, they took pictures of the classified telephones. Somebody from the White House, or previous White House, weighed in on Twitter yesterday and said, this is a huge no-no. One of the things they tell you, you do not take pictures of the classified phones in the room. Second thing, she did not have an Apple Watch. There's another picture of Susie Wiles, who's Trump's chief of staff at the White House. She's got an electronic device on her phone. People thought it was an Apple Watch, which would be a violation in a skiff. It was not an Apple Watch. It was a whoop. a whoop, I think it's called, WHOOP or something. It was basically one of those walking things that keeps an eye on how much you've walked and what your heart rate's doing and that kind of stuff. Those things are allowed in some skiffs. Not all skiffs allow it, though. I would argue you shouldn't have any technology in here. A Fitbit, Fitbit, thank you. Put her aside because her thing is not clear that it was a problem. This gets a little worse now. This is the secure room at Mar-a-Lago where no electronics can come in or out. Nobody can spy on them. The two guys are peeking in between Donald Trump through the curtain. That isn't a wall. That is not an impenetrable wall that radio waves cannot get through. It's a curtain. They're in some room at Mar-a-Lago, some larger ballroom or something, and they've put up curtains. That's it. That's it. This is supposed to be a Faraday cage. This is supposed to be a room through which no communications can pass through the walls because the walls are a special technology that you can't beam things in and listen. It's a curtain, and these two guys are just peeking and watching. It gets worse. The curtain stops up here at the top. Look at the ceiling. The curtain goes up, and then you're looking at the ramparts or whatever you call it, the wood of the ceiling. The curtain only goes up part way. Not that a curtain's going to make privacy anyway. It stops. This is the official White House photo, guys. It gets better. Look what's on the wall here. The position of all of our troops in the region. Now, this could be on purpose. This could be on purpose. I could imagine them putting this up as, I hope to God, this is disinformation for the Iranians, is what I hope. That this was left there so the Iranians would go, aha, this is where they are. That's my hope, right? I know they may not be smart enough to do that, but I'm trying to give them credit. Bottom line is, Trump is having discussions about the war. They're claiming this is a skiff. They're claiming this is a secure communications room. In fact, it's a room with curtains, and the curtains stop halfway up. That is not a skiff. That is not a secure communications room. No, and this is not just petty stuff. This stuff matters, okay? The other thing that happened, we found out yesterday, Mark Garagos. Mark Garagos, very famous lawyer from California. I'm forgetting, he didn't represent OJ, did he? No, he didn't represent OJ. Garagos has represented some super famous celebrity clients. Very famous guy. Mark Garagos is actually, I think Midas Touch. Isn't Midas Touch at his firm? What's his name? Ben, is it Ben Marcellus, the older brother? I thought he might have been at Garagos' firm. I don't recall now. But Mark Garagos is at a restaurant in Washington, D.C. on Friday afternoon. And he's about to do a podcast, 3 p.m. And apparently, I think he said this on the podcast. He's sitting in the restaurant. And behind him, the booth right behind him, this lawyer, famous lawyer from L.A., in the booth behind him, there's a number of men and women, and the men are in their nice suits and whatever. And the one guy says, and I'm paraphrasing, "Oh boy, you're not going to believe the news. The entire country is going to wake up tomorrow morning to shocking news. We're bombing Iran." He says this in the middle of the restaurant, loud enough that Garagos can hear it. Garagos, by the way, was taped. I mean, I don't know whether they aired this yet, but Garagos told the guy that was interviewed, he goes, the guy said, why are you doing the podcast interview in a restaurant? He goes, well, I was going to leave, but the craziest conversation just happened behind me. He goes, I'm staying now. Mark Garagos, it's Gerag, what Danielle just put above. So the Trump White House people went to a restaurant and started just spouting off about the fact we were imminently going to bomb Iran. And then the guy started singing bomb, 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 Iran, which was the John McCain joke. I mean, this is amateur hour stuff. Whatever. All right, let me get you more of the news updates here. So, let me see here. Okay, Julia Kayyem is very interesting. Julia Kayyem is she might have been Obama. I don't know if she was Obama. I think she was an Obama expert on Homeland Security, top person. Iran has the capacity to launch terror and cyber attacks against allies and the U.S. Due to Doge, which was Elon Musk's firing everybody, cutting all the agencies, partisan firings of the FBI and cyber officials, because they also gutted the cyber task force at the Department of Justice and FBI. and lack of focus or know-how by Bondi and Nome, they are ignoring the possibility completely. Basically, she's worried about a terrorist attack in the U.S. because FBI and Department of Justice and Homeland Security have been so gutted by the Trump people. Let me find here. I'm going to sort of jump around at different things here. Hold on. This is interesting. Jonathan Martin, who's a big journalist in D.C. Thank you for the gift, Cheryl. As Tehran was being pounded by the U.S. and Israeli bombs on Saturday morning, its top diplomat dialed Moscow's number, so the Iranians called the Russians for help. On the other end of the line, according to an official Russian statement, Foreign Minister Lavrov offered his Iranian counterpart sympathy and promised his verbal support. Iran thus became the latest country after Syria and Venezuela to feel firsthand what partnership with Russia does and doesn't mean. They're not wrong about this. Syria, Assad in Syria, he did get to escape to Russia, but he didn't get any Russian help. Venezuela, huge Russian ally. The Americans went in and the Russians went, And now you've got Iran, the same thing. Remember we talked about this. Hey, that's enough for you. No more. Remember we talked about this with Iran. And people were saying, like, what would ever happen if Trump went to war with Iran? And I said, well, you know, I didn't think the Russians would get involved. Yeah, Cuba too, actually. You're right. We're screwing with Cuba now too. That's a very good point. That's a very good song. You're right. We have an embargo, energy embargo on Cuba, and the Russians aren't doing anything either. Hey, that's enough. Get out of there. Get out of there. That's enough. Seriously? Oh, fine. Go do your thing. Dog wants to go eat it. Dog is feeling better, which means she's just being a pain in the ass now. But yeah, the Russians, I had said with Iran that I didn't think the Russians would do much. The Russians would want to do much, but because they've been so bogged down in Ukraine, there's not much they can do. Ironically, Trump has been so not happy with the Ukrainians in the war there. The war with Ukraine made it much easier for us to be able to go after Iran and for the Israelis to go after Iran. Another concern about the airstrikes. A lot. Fareed Zakaria this morning on CNN. Lots of the General Stavridis. A lot of experts have been saying this. There has never been, that any of them can recall, there has never been air power alone, airstrikes alone, that caused a government to be overthrown. That basically, when we're talking about regime change has never happened by air power alone. Iraq is a good example. We bombed the hell out of Iraq, and it took troops on the ground. The first time we bombed the hell out of Iraq, Saddam Hussein stayed in power in 1991. The second time we bombed Iraq, thank you guys for the gifts. Thank you, Carrie. The second time we bombed Iraq in 2003, it took like 2.5 years to get Hussein. And again, we had to put boots on the ground. Now, on that front, one of the Trump people said today, and I've got it in my notes, I'll pull it up in a second, I'm forgetting who. One of the Trump people said today, some quote to the effect of, we will not have extensive boots on the ground. The word was extensive or some word like that. They didn't say we won't put U.S. troops on the ground. They said it won't be too many, which had people going, just how many are we going to be sending? Let me see here. One sec here. Looking. Right, Ayatollah's dead. We already know that. Now, this is great. The House, the Republicans are trying sort of a spin on the war that is just pure 1984. This one I don't think is going to work too well for them. They're trying to claim that, no, Trump didn't start a war. That's what they're claiming, JT. Yeah, we talked about that at the beginning of the show. The Republicans are now trying to claim Trump didn't start a war. Trump ended a war by starting a war. No. Hey, okay. Hey! Sasha! Get in here. Get in here. Oh my God. I told you, she's like the freaking emu or whatever that woman's animal on the zoo. Whatever the hell that name of that thing is. Every time I deal with her, no, she's out there eating crap again. What's the name of the damn emu? Yeah, I saw her in the corner eating more leaves. She always wants to go out there, and I feel bad. I'm Emmanuel, exactly. Unbelievable. Karen, she is a Karen, though. Sasha's a bit of a Karen. This was from the House Foreign Affairs Committee. Okay, actually, hang on. I forgot. I want I need to put my sleep mode on so it won't disturb us while we're talking. There we go. This was the House Foreign Affairs Committee. President Trump is ending the forever war that Iran has waged against America for the last 47 years. So Trump didn't start a war yesterday. He ended it by massively bombing Iran and committing us to regime change in Iran. I mean, look, right? This is about as gaslighting as you get. Now, it's fair to say Iran evil, government evil, no sympathy for their leaders getting killed. They've been killing us for 50 years. That's true. Not 50, a little less. But to suggest that Trump didn't actually start a war yesterday, he ended the war by starting a war? I mean, okay, then the same thing with Saddam Hussein, right? Saddam Hussein, we ended the war because Saddam Hussein had been killing Americans and supporting terrorism and everything else too. Karen, that's cute. Next up, this one, Jonathan Lemire, another big journalist. The attack came despite U.S. intelligence assessments that Iran's forces were unlikely to pose an immediate threat to the U.S. mainland within the next decade. Reuters had a lot, kind of probably too much detail here. Initially, the U.S. used drones. We used Tomahawk cruise missiles. We used fighter jets for the attack. Let me see what else we've got here. Alex Jones is not happy. Tucker Carlson's pissed. Big surprise. These are big Republican supporters of Trump. Alex Jones, crazy guy, but big supporter of Trump, says Trump just committed the United States to total war with Iran. There is a high probability that Iran will activate terrorist sleeper cells inside the U.S. That's true. Trump's huge gamble accelerates the world's trajectory towards a nuclear war. No. Learn the true history of regime change in the Middle East and what comes next. So Alex Jones is pissed at Trump for doing this, which is interesting. Oh, Charlie Kirk. This is actually fascinating. People had quoted this, but I didn't believe it. I always tell you guys, whenever you see something online that sounds really wild, don't believe it. And by the way, unfortunately with this war, we can't believe any videos we see anymore. I mean, like the war videos now, I don't know what the hell's. This was quoted elsewhere, and I believe this video, although frankly, all this stuff is dangerous now. All of these videos now, right? Like all the war videos, I keep seeing stuff and going, are the Iranians bombing hotels in Bahrain? I don't know. I mean, it's very, but this apparently really is Charlie Kirk. Hang on.
We are just going to take out the Ayatollah. Oh, really? What comes next? What comes after regime change? Might be, oh, well, we need a small number of U.S. troops to support the new regime. We have seen this play before. Regime change, you have no idea how this is going to work out. You have no idea. We are just going to...
Now, that, interestingly enough, is something. So did Crazy come back? She is back inside. Okay, good. That, interestingly enough, is the point I keep making. I keep saying that one of the things you're taught, I did master's in foreign service at Georgetown, have done a lot of foreign policy, but at Georgetown especially, one of the things we study regime change. And one of the things they tell you when studying this is you do not overthrow a government unless you know what's coming next. It is just like the old line about a lawyer never asks a question he doesn't know the answer to, like when you got a witness on the stand, you always want to know what they're going to say. You don't ask them a question and be surprised. You don't overthrow a government unless you know what's coming next is going to be better. The concern about Iran right now is that the Revolutionary Guard could step in, the military, and the military is possibly more evil than the religious leaders in terms of the kind of dictatorship they might impose. It might even be a stricter dictatorship. And a lot of people think that basically once you've killed the Ayatollah and the top leadership, anybody coming in next is going to be more radicalized because they saw all the other guys get killed. So that's what Charlie Kirk is getting at, is you don't want to, the danger of regime change meaning going in, invading a country to overthrow its government, is you want to be careful about that because you need to know what's coming next, because what comes next could be worse. And if it's worse, that doesn't help you, right? Foreign policy, these are important. I mean, it's kind of, anyway, you get it. It kind of makes me think of going to the doctor, right? You got cancer or something's wrong with you. And you ask the doctor and he says, well, we could do this, but this medicine could have this effect, or this surgery could have these complications, or this cancer treatment could cause this. You have to weigh it by how badly do I need this and what's the danger of it going wrong? in essence, is what we're saying, right? It's not, if you're going to die anyway, then you say, let's go for it. We were not going to die anyway if we didn't invade Iran, right? That's where you've got to make that analysis and say, is it worth I'll take the money, Jesus. I'll take that. Somebody wrote "Go Iran," but gave me a donation, so we'll let you stand with that one. I always say that if you wanna give me money to give the wrong message, I'm okay with it. So, oh, this is great. Tulsi Gabbard. Tulsi Gabbard at one point was selling T-shirts, "No war with Iran." Tulsi Gabbard is Trump's national head of intelligence at the White House. She's super liberal. Well, she's not super liberal. She's kind of a whack job in many ways. She's a Democrat, but kind of a whack job. But she was kind of very pro-Russian and stuff, so didn't like the U.S. doing anything militarily around the world. Think of what the Russians would want. She was literally selling T-shirts, "No war with Iran." I mean, you kind of have to like that. Let me see here. Marjorie Taylor Greene, pissed. Marjorie Taylor Greene, top Trump supporter who now hates Trump, hates MAGA, resigned from Congress. Oh, thank you, Anand. Yeah, we could have a little competition between you guys. I'm trying to think. Let me actually pull some of what she's saying here. Mr. President, great, Mr. President, good job. You're a billionaire, and the American people, not the Iranian people who voted for you, are not billionaires. As a matter of fact, many of them are flat out broke, in all-time high credit card debt, can't afford health insurance or car insurance for that matter, and most young people can't afford to buy a house or even rent their apartment. I mean, I hate it when she makes sense, because she's crazy lady. Can't afford to rent their rent payment. Your generation, the baby boomers, your families were able to thrive on single incomes, and now that's practically impossible for the vast majority of American families, let alone imagine being a single mother. Most of your baby boomer friends and supporters, I'm sure, are cheering you the most. But us younger generations, Gen X, mine, millennials, and especially Gen Z, hate this fucking bullshit. This is Marjorie Taylor Greene. Because we all know that in 10 years, when the baby boomers that have been in charge of all of America's disastrous decisions are retired or passed away, us younger generations will be left with no Social Security checks because it will have gone bankrupt, over $50 trillion in debt, and a dollar that won't be worth shit. We, as in you and me, campaigned on America first, and this is not it. I hate when she's right. This lady, I'm telling you, I swear to God, it's like she's on meds or something. She suddenly got normal. Like, this is the lady who claimed that there were Jewish space lasers causing forest fires in California, that she claimed Jews had lasers in space. I mean, crazy shit. And she's horrible. She's racist. She's everything. She became sane in the last year and quit Congress because of it. It's very, I swear, I think like either she got help or she fell in love with somebody normal, right? It's one or the other. She met a guy or a girl and kind of, right? Thank you, Jesus. Right? Or something happened, but she's making way too, I mean, to read an entire long paragraph from Marjorie Taylor Greene and there was nothing wrong in what she said. I mean, that was pretty good. Stephen Miller, November 1st of 2024, just before the election. Stephen Miller, to anyone still gullible enough, this is top Trump's White House official. To anyone still gullible enough to fall for scummy media hoaxes, Trump said warmongering neocons love sending your kids to die for wars they would never fight themselves. Liz Cheney is Kamala Harris's top advisor. Liz wants to invade the whole Middle East. Kamala is World War III. Trump equals peace. They said this, yes, an iPad. They said this a little over a year ago. Trump's top people were accusing Democrats of starting wars in the Middle East. I mean, somebody asked a good question. Ines is asking, why is Iran bombing the United Arab Emirates? It's not really clear. Iran decided to basically bomb the Arab countries in the region. The Arab countries in the region, there's a lot of Arab countries. I showed the map yesterday. I have to pull it up again. But basically, there's a lot of Arab countries right south of Iran. Iran is on the water. Iran's on the water. There's a very skinny waterway. And Iran's on the south side of the waterway. On the north side of the waterway, you've got Dubai, United Arab Emirates, Bahrain, Saudi Arabia, Kuwait, a little closer. But you've got all these countries right there. Iran has been bombing them, has been sending missiles in and drones to bomb, especially the hotels. They're bombing a lot of the hotels. Now, They've also been bombing American bases. Jens says there's a U.S. base in UAE. We think the U.S. troops that were killed, at least 3 U.S. troops were killed. We think they were on an American military base. We don't know. But Iran has been bombing those other Arab countries. Now, there are U.S. bases there. That would make sense as to why they're bombing. They seem to be bombing the hotels. The question becomes, thank you, Shayna. Keep the gifts coming, guys. Appreciate it. The question becomes, are they bombing the hotels on purpose, or are they bombing the hotels because they're missing the bases? Now, the Iranians keep claiming that they're bombing the hotels because U.S. troops are staying in those hotels. Everyone's been saying U.S. troops are not staying in luxury hotels in Dubai. That's not happening. It's possible Iran is trying to go after the bases and missing and hitting the hotels because they're like the Russian, some of the Russian missiles aren't very smart. And maybe they're trying to cover their ass by saying, oh, we meant to hit the hotel. It kind of looks like, I think what Jens is saying, they're trying to scare the tourist economy. I think they're trying to punish these Arab governments for having American bases. The Arab governments didn't pick a side. Oh, thank you, Jen. Oh, very cool. I've never seen that before. Thank you for that one. Hip Hop Hen. Thank you for that. I think they're trying to punish the Arab governments for being allies of the U.S., for having U.S. bases, also for not picking a side. A lot of these governments basically said, we're staying neutral. We're not going to side with America, but we're not going to side with Iran. The problem is that, and I was hearing this analysis on Fareed Zakaria's show this morning, that when Iran then attacks all of its neighbors, it basically puts all of its neighbors in a position where they go, okay, well, I guess we're with America, right? Iran could have tried to cleave, to put a wedge between America and its friendly Arab countries, right? They didn't. They attacked all the friendly Arab countries, so the friendly Arab countries don't really have a choice but to side with America now. So I don't know. I mean, I guess, excuse me, I guess if you're Iran, and you could do serious damage to American military bases, that would make sense from an Iranian perspective, right? If America's trying to knock you out, you try to hit back at America, the U.S. bases are the nearest thing. But they don't seem to, they've killed some troops. They don't seem to be doing, from what we hear, they don't seem to be doing a very good job hitting the U.S. bases. Let me see what else we have here. Oh.
A
JD Vance.
looming, potentially larger war in the Middle East
JD
with
Vance,
Iran.
about a year ago.
You were the vice
2 years ago.
president.
Oh,
How
last year.
does the Trump administration handle what could be
This is JD Vance last year.
a looming, potentially larger war in the Middle East with Iran? You were the vice president. How does the Trump administration handle what could be a massive Mid-East war,
right?
After everything obviously we just talked about like getting America back on track and figuring out how to allocate resources to people in this country. How do we handle that?
Well, I mean, a couple of principles, right? So obviously, Israel has the right to defend itself, but America's interest is sometimes going to be distinct. Like sometimes we're going to have overlapping interests, and sometimes we're going to have distinct interests. And our interest, I think, very much is in not going to war with Iran, right? It would be a huge distraction of resources. It would be massively expensive to our country. And it's interesting to me, when the October 7th thing happened, and we have a couple of dear friends.
I'm not going to play the whole thing. A year ago, JD Vance said, we're not going to war with Iran, and it wouldn't be in our interest to go to war with Iran. Hey! Stop.
A looming
Enough out of you. Thank you. Jeez Louise. Here.
You were the vice president.
I mean, that one blew my mind. That one blew my freaking mind. Absolutely blew my mind. Right? It's not in our interest. That's not surprising. And he says that Trump just posted that he's going to take out the Iranian Navy. Well, 2 things. One, shut up, not you, N.E. Donald Trump should not be telling the Iranians where he's going next, but a lot of the military experts have already been saying on TV that they believed the U.S. would go after the Iranian Navy left, because the Iranian Navy is big, and you've got the threats to Middle East oil. Already sank a shift, Jens is saying. Okay, this is from the New York Times this morning. Shortly before the U.S. and Israel were poised to launch an attack on Iran, the CIA zeroed in on the location of perhaps the most important target, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, I never get the name right, the country's supreme leader. The CIA had been tracking Ayatollah Khamenei for months, gaining more confidence about his locations and his patterns, according to people familiar with the operation. Then the agency learned that a meeting of top Iranian officials would take place on Saturday morning at a leadership compound in the heart of Tehran. Most critically, the CIA learned that the supreme leader would be at the site. The United States and Israel decided to adjust the timing of their attack, in part to take advantage of the new intelligence, according to officials. So that was yesterday morning. Israel had determined that the gathering would include top Iranian defense officials, including the commander-in-chief of the Islamic Revolutionary Guard, the minister of defense, the head of the military council, the commander of the Islamic Revolutionary Guard's aerospace force, the deputy intelligence minister, and others. Another story here. This is from Yaroslav Trofimov, who's with, I think Yaroslav's with the Journal, I think. Yeah, he's very good. The Iranian regime, just like Russia and Ukraine, is deliberately targeting hotels across the Gulf with the same false excuse that these hotels are full of Western soldiers. Same Shahed drones, same playbook. We talked about that. Hang on here. Jim Sciutto, who's a CNN military expert, a defense expert. Worth noting as we watch Iran, Russia has now seen 3 friends felled, knocked down, or diminished in little over a year. Syria, Venezuela, and Iran, with no apparent ability to defend them or to execute measurable payback. It's an indictment both of Russian power projection and the strength of its alliances. Here's Trump.
Going to have a war with me, and you're not going to have a third world war with me. That I can tell you.
Trump 2024.
I will tell you, you're not going to have a war with me, and you're not going to have a third world war with me. That I can tell you.
Yeah. So this was the Atlantic reporting this morning. One day after launching strikes on Iran that killed Ayatollah Khamenei and embroiled the region in war, Trump told me this morning that the country's new leadership wants to talk with him and that he plans to do so. Quote, "They want to talk and I have agreed to talk, so I will be talking to them. They should have done it sooner. They should have given what was very practical and easy to do sooner. They waited too long," Trump told me in a phone call from Mar-a-Lago 9:30 this morning. Maybe. I'm not totally convinced on that one. What else we got here? 4 B-2 bombers flew round trip from the U.S., dropped dozens of 2,000-pound bombs on underground ballistic missile sites in Iran, according to Fox News. She's very good, though. It's Fox News' military correspondent, Jennifer Griffin, who's actually very good. Several Iranian media reports that Mahmoud Ahmadinejad and all his bodyguards have been killed. That's a good thing. Ahmadinejad was the former leader. Horrible guy. Horrible guy. Karen, I'm not sure what you mean 200 stars. Horrible guy. So not feeling any sympathy for him. Let me see here. Well, we know that. And that's it for the updates there. I'm going to look and see now. That was sort of the overall stuff. We still don't know what's going on in terms of how long this is going to go on. We don't know. I mean, Trump apparently doesn't want this. A rundown of what's happening. It's kind of what I just did, Christy. I mean, basically, we're a day into the war. Trump initially said he wanted to overthrow the Iranian government. Today, and Trump already said it this morning to a reporter, it looks like Trump kind of wants to end this in a few days when he initially talked about overthrowing the government. It's not clear the U.S. has enough ammunition to really do this for a long period of time. He seems to be hoping that the Iranians do the same thing the Venezuelans did, which is we went in, we took the leader of Venezuela, kidnapped him, Maduro, and the remaining Venezuelan leaders said, okay, let's talk. Let's talk, America, let's not fight. Okay, I'm still a little suspicious on the remaining Venezuelan leaders, how much they're willing to do that. But Trump was sort of hoping the Iranians would do that too. I have a hard time believing... Oh, Ahmad didn't. I have a hard time believing that the Iranian leaders, oh, thank you, Cha-Cha. That's a goat. That the Iranian leaders are willing to like reach like we blow them up and kill them and they go, okay, let's be friends. Which goat would you like there, Cha-Cha? I did see that. All right. That's my coffee. I'm now flying from my second cup of coffee. Which I usually have a little later. Halloween? All righty. Halloween goat for Cha-Cha for buying the special gift on TikTok. All right, one more. That's a good question. That's a very good question. Mel just said, how are you going to protect the World Cup this summer in the U.S.? That's a good point. That's a good point. Because even if we reach some deal with Iran, Iran still likes to get revenge. NJ is saying on Substack, also on Fareed Zakaria this morning, was the Omani foreign minister revealing Iran and negotiators' agreement to downgrade enriched uranium moved and stored after last Trump bombing so it could only be used for energy. So, but you're saying that already, you mean before the bombing? I think is what you're saying. Reuters says only 1 in 4 Americans support the attack. Oh, that's interesting. Let me see if I can find any poll on that. That would be really, I was wondering about that. We talked about this yesterday, that very often when there's military operations, Americans rally around the flag. Americans sort of support the president when we're at war. And I was very curious as to, let's see here. This was before the attack, though. Public's appetite for U.S. attack on Iran was low before Trump took action on Saturday. Most Americans said they were either opposed to such action, 49%, not sure, 30%. Among Republicans, there were reservations, with 40% in favor of a strike, 25% opposed, 35% didn't know. Now, this was before the attack, so I don't know that there's any polls after. Oh, here we go, Reuters. Oh, here we go. Here we go. Only 1 in 4 Americans approve of the U.S. strikes that killed Iran's leader on Saturday, while about half, including 1 in 4 Republicans, believe Trump is too willing to use military force, according to a Reuters Ipsos poll. Some 27% of respondents said they approved of the strikes, 43% disapproved, 29% were not sure. 9 in 10 said they'd heard at least a little bit about the strikes. Wow, only 27% were supporting. Now, Cyprus could be getting attacked because there's a British military base on Cyprus, a very big base. Wow. Okay. Do you approve of Trump's attack on Iran? All adults, 27% yes, 43% no. Republicans, listen to this. Republicans, 55% yes. Only 55% of Republicans support the attack. Remember, we talked about this. There's a little bit of a cult thing that goes on with actually both political parties, really. People tend to rally with their president. Only 55, the number ought to be 90%, 95%. 80% would be bad for your own political party. 55% of Republicans support the war. That's it? That's pretty bad. 13% oppose. That's pretty small. But only 55% support. Democrats, 7% support. I'm not surprised. 74% oppose. That's normal. Others, this gets interesting because now you're talking about independents. Others, 19% support, 44% oppose. So what you've got is, you've got independents, only 19% support going into Iran. That's bad for Trump. Oh, hey, Doug, the independent. That's bad for Trump. Because again, with the election coming up, you've got to worry about voters in the middle. Voters in the middle are independents. That's very interesting. And as Will just said, if it goes on for a while, that gets harder too. Wow. What do Americans think of Trump's use of military force overall? Too much, about right, not enough, didn't answer. All adults, 56% too much. Republicans, 23% too much, 73% about right. Democrats, 87% said he uses it too much. Independents, 60% think Trump uses military force too much, 26% not too much. Very interesting. Wow. That's bad. That is highly unusual. George Bush, the George Bush, the father. Okay, George H.W. Bush. I always forget their initials. George H.W. Bush. George Bush, Ronald Reagan's vice president, who became president for 4 years, 1989, 1993. Bush did the first Gulf War, the first war with Iraq, the good one, that we went in and we saved Kuwait, 93, coalition of 91 or 93 countries, the coalition of the willing, all our allies, and we liberated Kuwait. That one, Bush was unpopular. He invades Kuwait. His popularity soared to, Desert Storm. His popularity soared to, actually, let me ask Alexa. Alexa, set your volume to 5. Alexa, what was George Bush's popularity during the first Gulf War in 1991? Alexa, what was Bush's approval rating during the first Gulf War in 1991? She hasn't been responding to me today. I think something's wrong with her. All right, you're having an issue here, aren't you? All right, Alexa, did you hear my question? I asked you what was Bush's approval rating during the first Gulf War in 1991.
President Bush's approval rating reached 89% in February 1991, the highest ever recorded at that time.
89%. There you go, 89%. Yep. Very interesting, right? 89%. He went on the next year. Actually, Alexa, what was George Bush's approval rating in 1992, November, right when the election happened?
Bush's approval rating had dropped to 43% by November
43.
1992. Quite a change from his earlier highs.
It dropped from 89% to 42 or 43%. That's interesting, right? So Bush attacks Iraq. His approval goes up to 89%. The next year, with the election, it drops back to 43% or so. That's interesting. That's very interesting. That's why, but again, typically your approval I will check that out. Typically your approval rating goes through the roof when you go to war. With Trump so far, only a quarter of Americans are supporting this attack. That's, yeah, Alexa was taking a little break, exactly. That's kind of shocking. That's very shocking. Here we go. Reuters. A projectile hit the Marshall Islands flagged product tanker, killing a crew member on board as the vessel sailed off the coast of Oman on Sunday. The vessel suffered an explosion and subsequent fire after being struck by a projectile. It is with great sound. So one crew member was killed. That's going to be interesting. All right, fine, dog. That's going to be interesting because the Iranians are basically now following the Houthi. No, could have been the Houthis themselves. Are following the Houthi model, which is basically they're going to try to shut down all commerce in the region and basically say, fine, West attacks us, we're going to attack the West's oil and the West. Pretty much a huge, we looked at this before, a huge amount of international commerce goes through that area by sea. Huge amount. I forgot the numbers, but we had looked at this before. So that's thank you for pointing that out. That's very interesting. Very interesting. Interesting. See what else we got here. Yeah, like I said, I'm very surprised about the. Thank you, Just Max. I'm very surprised about that approval rating. Not approval rating that Trump. That only 27% of Americans or whatever support the war. That's shocking. That number typically. Now, I think part of the problem is Trump. I mean, he had the State of the Union on Tuesday, the biggest address of the year, and he didn't spend any time arguing for the war. It makes no sense. Thank you, Just Max. I mean, it makes no sense. I see what my dog is doing again. Oh my God. Hey! Oh, my dog. Jesus Christ. Yeah, Emmanuel, I swept all the leaves yesterday, and now I swept all the leaves yesterday. She was behind a planter finding the leaves I didn't get because you can only get so close against the wall. She's brilliant. No, she's a brilliant dog. She's a pain in the ass. She's a Karen, my Karen dog. Oh, my God, a hamster wheel. I know. No, I need to get her like fake dirt. They ought to sell treats that look like dirt. I should buy treats that look like dirt and leaves, Man. Rhode Island, Trump bombed Iran. He put up the price 20. Oh, what, Susan, so you're saying the local gas prices went up 25 cents in Rhode Island where you are? I'm in Washington, D.C. It's actually not warm today, but it's 52, which is okay. It feels warm out there. Yesterday was in the 60s. Oh, no, the next week is getting to 70s, thank God. We may have finally, not summer, but, oh, hey, Gabrielle in Romania. We may have finally had, winter is finally over, I think, thank God. Thank God. Already, wow, gas prices already went up 25 cents around the corner from her in Rhode Island. Interesting. All right, what else we got here? I'm pulling up sort of the news as we see it here, guys. What else here? Ted Cruz. I have no indications they were anywhere close to getting nuclear weapons. This morning, Ted Cruz says that. Oops.
Operations to secure Iran.
Hold on.
You tell us now if you believe that there was an ongoing nuclear weapons program. One of the top arms control experts out there, David Albright, has written there should be an immediate priority on rapid response operations to secure Iran's nuclear stockpiles right now. Can you assure the public that it will be secured? And if so, who is doing it if there are no Israeli or U.S. forces on the ground?
So there is no doubt that a year ago, Iran had an active and ongoing nuclear weapons program. We took out the vast majority of that at the end of the 12-day war. Where
That
Israel
U.S.
had taken
intelligence
out
assessment was not made public, if that is what was briefed to you.
We took out, we launched targeted bombs at the end of the 12-day war where we dropped the equivalent of about a third of a nuclear weapon on those underground facilities like Fordow, which is built into the base of a mountain. The bunker buster bombs we used, Israel doesn't have those bombs. No other country has those bombs. We took them out last year. The Iranians were still hell-bent on rebuilding them. And one of the things we are doing right now is taking out their missiles, in particular the southern missile belt. Right now.
I thought he was going to say something interesting. He didn't say anything interesting. Let me see what else we got going on here. Oh, Nick Fuentes is upset. This is good. This is good. Nick Fuentes is the neo-Enzi previous Trump supporter. Remember he had lunch with Trump at Mar-a-Lago? He's not happy.
2016, something has gone horribly wrong. All of those people, with some exceptions, were never Trumpers in 2016. Shapiro didn't vote for Trump in 16. Mark Levin was critical of Trump in 2016. Where were these people when the movement was actually born, when those pillars were in place? Now all of those people are in the center. The movement is something else now. And what we need in 2028, this is our last chance, we need in 2026 for this administration to be shut the fuck down. What does this administration do other than cover up the Epstein files, embezzle money through government contracts, and bring us to war for Israel? This administration needs to be shut down immediately.
Oh my God.
Do not vote in the midterms, and if you do, vote for Democrats.
Oh my
Fuck
God.
this.
Oh my God.
That is what the Republicans deliver. That is what our golden age looks like.
Huge
the
Trumper.
Tariffs were refunded. The deportations were stopped.
He's a huge
they
Trumper.
wound down and withdrew the ICE from Minneapolis. What does this administration do other than
Trumper.
embezzle money, go to war with Iran, and bury the Epstein files? Oh, and blackmail Harvard so they police anti-Semitism and ban people who criticize Israel from being in America. This administration needs to be shut down immediately. It has forfeited its mandate.
I mean,
they promised
he's
no
kinda
new
right.
wars. They promised mass deportations in America first, and we're not getting any of it.
Well, you are getting mass deportations.
Shut it down. In 2026, shut
That's
it down.
Nick Fuentes.
And our only hope is that in 2028, in the Republican primary, somebody will emerge who will actually put America first.
He's kind of
I am not voting for the vice president and the secretary of state that brought us to war in Iran. I won't do it. 2026.
I know.
Shut it down.
I never thought I'd agree with
You
him.
gotta burn
Oh, this
the
is real.
house
Oh, this
down
is
with
real.
them
This is
inside,
absolutely real.
Metaphorically. And in 28,
He's
you
been
better
pissed
hope
already.
that somebody has a prayer to run the Trump strategy.
He's already been
and do
really
another
pissed.
hostile takeover over the GOP. Otherwise, I'm going to become a Democrat. Like,
Well,
at that point,
we don't want you.
rather than be beholden to this country,
That's Nick Fuentes.
that
He's
is
a
our last
he's a
chance.
famous white
28
supremacist.
Republican primary,
NZ
we
sympathizer.
need a Trumpian figure to relight the candle. Someone needs to take the flame and take it further than Trump. He needs to take the baton and take it further and fulfill America first. That is the only way out of this at this point. And anybody that is not on this is not serious.
Now, it should be pointed out, he is a white supremacist to the max. He is an NZ, we say the word NZ because TikTok may not like the real word, the Germans of World War II fame. He is one of them, at least sympathetic to them in a major way. He likes to make jokes about Jews getting cooked and stuff. I mean, he's as sick as it gets in terms of racist, sexist, anti-Semitic, anti-Arab, anti-Muslim pig. Nick Fuentes. He is a racist it is hard for me to explain strongly enough. When I say he's a white supremacist, I mean for real. He's one step away from being an NZ. He is very sympathetic to the NZs, repeatedly talks about how he kind of supports them. He is as scary as it gets, fucked up white supremacy. I mean, like the problem, it kind of bothers me because honestly, this is something that happened on the left a couple years ago. They started, what was the word they started using? White supremacy? People on the left, look, I'm often on the left, but I get really pissed at people on the left because they play word games. And as you guys know, I'm not a big fan of the word games people play on the left, even suicide. Like now it's died by suicide. Like that's better. I don't quite get it, whatever. It's the same damn thing. You're gone. It's very sad. Changing the words does not make it change. And they played this game several years ago where anybody who was racist was now a white supremacist. It was white supremacy. And white supremacy wasn't just racism. It was kind of anything. And I was like, no, white supremacists are this guy. White supremacy is neo-Nzs. It's the Klan, right? When you make all of us white, like the whole system, the democracy's white supremacy, when you do that kind of crap, then you've now made it so that we can, exactly. When I try to describe this guy as being a white supremacist, it sounds like I'm saying, well, he's a white guy who supports the system of government in America. No. He literally is a guy who's made favorable comments about Nzs. Anyways, bottom line is, that was incredible. He has been pissed. He's been pissed at Trump and the Republicans for a while now. He already told Republicans not to vote for Republicans in the fall election. And this Iran stuff. I mean, the really scary thing is this is like worth an article. Nick Fuentes and Marjorie Taylor Greene have made really. Actually, I meant to grab. Hold on. I meant to grab the. I need to save that. Actually, where is this? Let me save it so I don't lose it. I mean, Nick Fuentes and Marjorie Taylor Greene have now made like the best argument of anybody. I mean, it's kind of crazy, right? I mean, Marjorie Taylor Greene's entire thing, I was like, I agree with you. Nick Fuentes, I could never imagine in a million years agreeing with everything he was saying. Almost everything, other than he said, well, there haven't been enough deportations. It's been massive, the deportations, absolutely massive. So that's actually just not true. And he's upset that they're not doing even more in Minnesota. Yeah, I think they've done enough in Minnesota. But oh my God, that was insane. That was absolutely insane. Wow. Let me see what else we've got here. What else do we have here? Oh. One second. What is that? Let me see what else we got, guys. Oops. Come on. Let me find this. I'm trying to find like the latest. Oh, he's good, of course. The Fox News guy is always good.
Iranian Navy vessels. According to President Trump, the United States sunk 9 Iranian Navy vessels. The president posted to Truth Social just now saying, I have just been informed that we have destroyed and sunk 9 Iranian naval vessels, some of them relatively large and important. We are going after the rest. They will soon be floating at the bottom of the sea also. In a different attack, the president goes on to say, we largely destroyed their naval headquarters. Other than that, their Navy is doing very well. Again, that was a statement.
Well, that's good. I mean, I don't trust anything Trump. The problem is I don't trust anything Trump says, but, you know, hopefully that's true. Yes, air supremacy achieved. We had heard that earlier pretty much because we knew, well, the Israelis now are dropping a different kind of bomb. I forget what they're called. they're not stand-in bombs. Is that, I forget what they call them, where basically they're now dropping bombs from airplanes over Tehran. They were doing them standoff before, where they're kind of outside so that they can protect the planes. Now they're able to fly over Tehran and drop the bombs because they've got air superiority or whatever it is, but basically control of the air, so that they're it's safe for them to fly planes over Tehran now. Well, they were using bombs from afar before because it wasn't safe for them to fly over Tehran. Now it is safe for them to fly over Tehran. What else has he got?
Trump was very clear. He is calling on.
Yeah, Trump is saying the Iranians want to talk. I mean, maybe. I'm not sure I believe that. 3 U.S. service members have been killed. Small Iranian ship was hit. Death toll's risen to 9 outside of Jerusalem. Let me see here. Doot. All right, what else do we have here? The Iranian regime are now targeting allies and citizens of the UK. They've struck bases of the armed forces in the region. Let's see here. Just seeing what other news here for you guys. I mean, I've already sort of just finished going through all the news updates, so I don't want to repeat everything. Where do I get my updates? I follow honestly, Twitter. I mean, I read all the papers. Like Sarah Palin, I read all the papers. But I, for years now, have created various lists on Twitter of journalists and foreign policy experts and other experts. Kind of like I've got one for Ukraine. I've got one kind of Middle East overall. And it's a ton of journalists and foreign policy experts and defense experts as well. So a lot of current, former generals, things like that. And it can be it's very useful because basically they're all people who are very smart and very honest. That doesn't mean everything's right, but if you don't have a Twitter, yeah, I mean, I could name sort of who the source is. I've been naming the source when I say stuff generally. Not all of them have got, not everything is sourced perfectly, but I try to use people who tend to be right. So, anyway, they're people who tend to be right. Let me see here. What else do we have here? What is that? Nope, nothing there. Like, I will tell you, I don't trust Israeli sources totally. I don't trust Trump. Like I said, like quoting Trump on that stuff. Even the Israelis, I feel like the Israelis are very smart, so that sometimes they want to put out information to kind of trick the Iranians. Trump just lies, so I don't trust what he says at all. Is Israel safe right now? Not really. I mean, it depends what you mean, right? Susan says, do you think the war was started so Trump can claim we're at war, no voting? No, because then he would have waited until October. Then you go the week before or something. You know what I mean? Now, there's always the chance of Iran doing some kind of terrorist attack in Trump, but I think this is more. Trump has this really, thank you, kind-hearted. Trump has this kind of crazy idea that he wants to overthrow all the bad governments in the world, and I don't quite know why. I think he actually thinks that, because he talked about, at one point there was some tweet or something of him talking about, we're going to have world peace by him throwing out all these governments. I think he thinks, and again, you're dealing with Trump, not the brightest guy. I think he thinks that he's going to get the Nobel Peace Prize by imposing peace on the world by overthrowing all the governments against peace, right? Iran, bad government. Venezuela, bad government. Cuba, bad government. Very true for all of them. And that by getting rid of them, he's promoting peace because they're warmongering evil governments. But you don't get the Nobel Peace Prize for invading, unless it's beating the H-man in Germany, then maybe, right? But otherwise you don't get the Nobel Peace Prize but I think that's what he thinks. Yeah. I think that's what he thinks. I don't think this is Epstein. It does change it from Epstein, which doesn't hurt. that's an added advantage. But I think he really has this crazy idea about I don't know. He wants to overthrow all these governments. But again, it's crazy because he fear, you never want to ask me who the heck I am. Never. One of the things they teach you in law, never ask a question you don't know the answer to, because your question presupposes that I don't have a background in foreign policy, and you're going to be very embarrassed if you go to my link in my bio and click it and go look at my LinkedIn. And you will learn all about who the heck I am, and then you will crawl with your blocked little leg between your tail between your legs and go, eek. All right, what else we got? Let's see. Actually, he's very good too. Let's see what he's saying. Yeah, again, Trump says the new potential leadership in Iran has indicated they want to talk and eventually he will talk. For now, the battle continues unabated. I mean, maybe. U.S. official says B-2 bomber missions were sent to destroy Iranian ballistic missile launchers inside underground caves. Okay, we pretty much knew that. All right. Yeah, I'm not seeing a ton of updates beyond what we already know. Oh, this was funny. Shashank, who's the defense editor at The Economist. Oh, hey, Carrie. Do you think he will try to overthrow North Korea? I mean, he was buddy-buddy with him. Trump, well, here's the thing. No, because it's too dangerous. Trump, look, I'd love to overthrow North Korea. North Korea is probably the most dangerous country on the planet in many ways. Oh, hey, Carrie, it's you. I had to read your whole name to see who you were. You're that Carrie. Trump is, not Trump. North Korea, horrible. North Korea, let's hope to God somebody could overthrow them safely. The problem is they have nuclear weapons, and they've got massive numbers of troops on their southern border with South Korea. The South Korean capital of Seoul is literally 20 or 30 miles. I forget, is it 20 miles? I keep saying this. Alexa, how many miles is Seoul, South Korea, away from the North Korean border?
Seoul is about 136 miles from the Korean demilitarized zone.
No.
The sea itself stretches roughly 160 miles.
No way. No way. Alexa, stop. No, that's wrong. That's at 130 miles. It's not 130 miles. It's not. It's I was going to say it's about 30 miles. Yeah. It's 20 to 30 miles, I will bet you. It's not. There's no way in hell. It's very close. Let's pull up the map here and see. Google Maps. Is that Google Maps? Sorry. I was having to do an update on my iPads, and iPads, Apple is so bad. The updates. No. Cut it out. Hey, cut it out. Will you stop it? She's doing her, I've got to go. Yeah, you've got to go eat crap. 35 miles. Yeah, that's what I was going to say. There's no way that it's 100 miles. You crazy? So the point is, they're like 30 miles away from North Korea. The capital of South Korea could be hit by artillery shells. I mean, it could get 35 miles. It can get obliterated. Absolutely obliterated. Well, no, because I remember it was 20 or 30 miles. Absolutely obliterated. Okay. What? Oh my God. Oh my God. Hold on a second. Will you people stop it? What is wrong with you? Hold on. Oh my God. TikTok is banning gifts for 10 minutes because we broke the rules. Doing what? God only knows. I love that. We broke the rules. God. TikTok, I mean, this broadcast has been as tame as it gets. Let's go South Korea here. South Korea. Let's see what we've got here. And then when they come back, then you got to make up for it. You can always become super fans, I'll bet you, in the meantime. Or with the star at the bottom of the screen. South Korea, here we go. All right. Seoul. Yeah. Actually, it's like showing me roads and stuff. Default. It's hard to see this. Here we go. Well, that's... Either way, probably good enough. It's kind of hard to see. So I will show you. Okay? Here's Seoul. Let me touch it. All right? Seoul, South Korea is right here. Let's just do that. This is pissing me off right now. That's South Korea. That's the North Korean border. That's the South Korean capital. The distance here, are you going to show me the distance? 10 miles. That's 30 miles, as people said. That's a 30-mile difference from right here, this is the North Korean border. This is the South Korean capital. 30 miles is it. They can literally use artillery and fire at South Korea from there. Incredibly dangerous. No superfan? Oh, they're so evil. They're so freaking evil. You know them. I mean, whatever. When they come back, give gifts, guys. So yeah, very interesting. Yeah, Carrie, we just talked to Carrie. Yeah. We were talking to Carrie, but that's this whole conversation we're having right now is about Carrie. About South Korea. So the problem is it's too dangerous. It's too dangerous to, I know it has been a while without a map. It's too dangerous to attack North Korea because they've got the nukes, and they've got, I'd say 45 kilometers, 50 kilometers maybe. Yeah, it's about right. That's about right. 50. So that's too dangerous to attack North Korea because they've got nuclear weapons they could use on South Korea or somebody else. And they've got so many troops on the border, they could destroy South Korea. And is it a third of the population? Alexa, what % of South Korea's population is in Seoul?
Seoul is home to about 20% of South Korea's
Okay, 20% less. Okay, 20%, which is still a lot though. What's the benefit of attacking North Korea? It is a crazy regime. I mean, literally a country run by crazy people, and they've got nuclear weapons. You want to see a nuclear war start? It's going to be North Korea. Incredibly dangerous. Also, those poor people are the most oppressed people on the entire planet. It is the worst dictator. It's communist, but worst Stalinist. It's the worst dictatorship on the planet. So yeah. No, not paid to, because this was important. I wanted to do this today. God, they're so crazy. They can never decide what they're doing. Jesus Christ. Hey, I hear you. All right. Was my restriction lifted? I think it might have just been lifted. Try to give me a gift. Try to give me a gift on TikTok. Let's see if it was lifted. I think it might have been just lifted. No. Oh, it's still not? Oh, it's not showing me the restriction anymore, though. Oh, interesting. 7 minutes. Okay, they're being evil. Whatever. Hey, you. Well, you can make up for it when it comes back. No, but this is the TikTok. TikTok has so many automated processes that are so screwed up. It's unfortunate. But they let the bad guys report you, and they just ban you. I mean, I'm surprised they didn't ban us for a week, because that's what they usually do for no reason, But hey, stop, please. All right, you know what? I'm gonna make you say hi to everybody because you're being a little Karen today. Say hi to everybody, Karen. Okay? Hi. All right. At least she's not whining. Today's whining is different. I don't think I'm big on Twitch. Now, I use Twitch, but I haven't used Twitch in a while. I was trying to build up. I don't know if Twitch is as popular for news and stuff. Instagram, my Instagram is doing quite well. I've got almost 50,000 people on Instagram. We're on Instagram right now. Hello, Instagram. Thank you, NJ Patman, for that. Right, we've got a lot of people following me on Instagram, which is nice right now. Okay, you all right? Okay. Yes, Pakistan. There are protesters that sort of lit a fire outside the U.S. Embassy. I did see that. YouTube is still working. That's good. Anyway. What else? What else we got? I don't know. We don't really, the thing is, look, we're kind of dealing in fog of war right now. We don't really know what has been hit in Iran, partially because they're not going to tell us. I think also the battle assessment is difficult because we don't really know, even the U.S. doesn't know what damage has been done. Meaning we bomb a bunch of police headquarters and military and everything else. You don't really know how many officials did they take out, how many military have you taken out. You just don't know. So I don't know that we know. Am I going live every day? I mean, I go live every day anyway, Monday to Friday. So I do a live anyway, Monday to Friday, 6 o'clock Eastern, where we talk about the latest news. I'm doing the weekend because obviously this is important, what's going on. So yeah, gifting is still suspended. They got mad at me. This show violates the rules. It's not allowed. But again, it makes no sense because also they're playing games now where it violates the rules, but you're still going to let me talk, but you're not going to let me get gifts. What possible rule can I not get gifts, but it's okay for me to talk? That makes no sense, right? I mean, if I were saying something horrible, you're not going to give me money, but you're still going to let me say something horrible? Even the rule doesn't, I mean, it's bullshit anyway, but even the rule doesn't make sense. Yeah. Also, good point. TikTok doesn't want to make money off of my show for 10 minutes to punish me. Okay. All right, well, whatever. Oh, they never tell you what rule. No. TikTok is famous, unfortunately. TikTok likes to, years ago I learned, TikTok will tell you, sometimes they'll tell you what rule you broke, but I was told it doesn't really mean anything. They just say it like whenever they want. That's true. You can still got YouTube and everywhere else, but they will just say you broke some rule, but they don't really mean it. So like they'll say misinformation. They'll say hate speech. It's not really hate speech. So you never quite know what it is. It's really annoying. You know, it's really annoying. Oh, it's worse than being a guest. I mean, you know, TikTok, other services don't do this. YouTube is great. YouTube is great. All of them are. Discord's great. Substack is great. YouTube, once. The only time since 2008 that I've had YouTube ever play games, they gave me a strike once. That was it. For criticizing Bobby Kennedy on the vaccine stuff. And TikTok strike said I was putting out vaccine disinformation. Or not TikToks, YouTubes. And I was criticizing Kennedy and saying the COVID vaccine worked. That is the opposite of vaccine disinformation. That's pro-vaccine. And I finally found somebody at YouTube, explained it to him via chat. He went, hey, no. He went and told his boss, and the boss overturned it for me. I was like, holy shit. YouTube, where you can't get any human being. They actually overturned it. So YouTube, that was the only time I ever had any punishment from YouTube, is they accidentally misinterpreted what I said once about vaccines, and I got them to overturn it. TikTok, forget it. The number of problems we've had with, and my show is as benign as you get. I mean, this isn't like dancing, right? I mean, this isn't like a, right? But when it comes to talking politics, I am as benign as you get, you know? China, Taiwan, I mean, what do you mean move to Taiwan? What do you mean? I mean, the Trump people, we saw today in the news, I wasn't going to really get into it. Trump is now postponing a $13 billion arms deal with Taiwan because he doesn't want to make China angry, because he's going to China and he wants it to be happy. So he's not selling the arms to Taiwan that Taiwan needs to defend itself. I mean, man. Very scary stuff. So yeah. Well, China invade Taiwan this year. The thinking was that China wouldn't be ready to invade Taiwan for another few years, was the thinking. China, having said that, if they could invade Taiwan this year, it wouldn't be the dumbest idea, because you've already got America gave a ton of its weapons to Ukraine, gave a ton of its weapons to Israel, and now we're using a ton of weapons in the Middle East, and we're in the Middle East. If I were China, you know, now is the perfect time if you're China. If you're ready, China may not be ready militarily to go after Taiwan today. It may be better for them to wait 3 years. But in terms of America being busy, think of what's going on with Russia. Russia has not been able to respond to our attack on Iran, our attacks, plural, on Iran. Russia has not been able to respond to our attack on Venezuela. Russia has not been able to respond to Syria exploding. These were all of Russia's allies. Oh, there we go. Thank you, Nathan. Thank you, Gene. We got the gifts. Woo-woo. Thank you, guys. Russia's not been able to defend any of its allies. Thank you, guys. Thank you. It's ridiculous now. Thank you, Angeline. Wait, who that was? Was that Russell? Who was? Oh, Nathan. Nathan, you got a goat. Exactly. Pick the goat, Nathan. Thank you, guys. You guys are sweet. Thank you. Ooh, very nice one from Stormy. Very nice. Thank you, Stormy. Yeah, the Russell has to say which goat you want. Oh, that's a good one. Oh shit, that's not a UN story, is it? That's a UN story. I've got to think of my UN story now too. That's a good gift though. All right. Oh, wasn't you? Who was this? Somebody had a goat gift. UN story. I had another UN story. The goat choices are, hello. Thank you, guys. Thank you, Terry. The goat choices are, I am looking at the screen now so I can see the gifts. The goat choices are regular, small goat, big goat, Halloween goat, Christmas goat, and yodeling pickle, which is not a goat, but a new option, a new choice. Thank you, Ash. Oh, with the mystery box. Are you ready for your mystery box? No, thank you, Russell. Yodeling Pickle? Okay, Yodeling Pickle is annoying but funny. That's why we got it, because it's annoying. I know. And it always goes on a little too long. Thank you for that. I'm already forgetting now. Oh, the UN story. Ugh. I had another UN story I was going to tell you guys. What was it? Shit, I'm forgetting the other UN story. There was another UN story I was thinking of. Ay. It's hard with the UN stories because I've gone through most of them that I remember. And I'm trying to think. There was some other one I thought of the other day that either I told you guys a long time ago. Well, actually, one thing I remember was in UNDP where I worked, United Nations Development, in the communications department. They would do fundraisers. They would raise money from the public, and there were two things for natural disasters, and there were two things going on. One, they were gonna do a fundraiser for a big flood in Asia. And I think there was an earthquake in Tibet, actually. It was an earthquake. And they were going to do, or Nepal. No, Nepal. It was Nepal. Earthquake. They were going to do a fundraiser. And I was like, well, how, are we going to give the money to our local office? No, we're just going to use it here. What do you mean here? In the communications office? The press office? I'm like, but raising money for the Nepal earthquake, we shouldn't be using it in our press office. And they go, yeah, but we do press on Nepal and everything else, so it's kind of the same thing. And I was like, that does not strike me as totally honest. Well, previous fundraisers they did, somebody opened the drawer and showed me. Previous fundraisers they did, they had people send checks. They had no way of using the checks, so they had drawers full of checks from people around the world who sent checks to the UN to donate that they couldn't use. I mean, it was just kind of, well, the first one is kind of fraudulent. The second one is just incompetent. I mean, you've got people sending in checks you can't use. Anyway, that was a mini UN story, but yeah, anyway, that was kind of a mini UN story. Well, because they had no way of cashing the checks. Thank you, Hatton Abichuela, for the checks, for the hat and mustache. There was no way of cashing the checks. They had no account to even cash them in. Because they were the press office. The press office didn't have a bank account, right? The UN doesn't have a bank account that you can give money to. But they asked for the money knowing they couldn't use the money. And then they wanted to raise money. When they found a way, they were going to raise money that just went to the press office. And I was like, but why don't we raise money and give it to earthquake relief or give it to our local office in Nepal or something? That would make sense. That would be cool, right? No, that would make too much sense, wouldn't it? Anyway, that's our UN. That's our UN. It was arranged by the worst boss ever. Well, she was in charge. This might have been some of the staff. All right. Superfan box empty. Welcome your new superfans to your fan club. Okay, whatever that means. Anyway, no, they're not. That Philip person's a scammer, guys. Do not respond to the scammers. They will cheat you so badly, it's not even funny. Never respond to anybody who puts any of those weird scam things on TikTok. Thank you, Andre. The people who do those weird, creepy, the first 5 people, I'm going to do so-and-so, they're scammers. Who's spamming? Alche, don't spam about India. No, we don't care about India. You're getting timed out. That's okay. They're getting timed out. Let me see here. Economist defense guy. Any further updates? Yep, crew member killed. So we say crew member killed in a tanker off of Oman. So this was funny. This was the Economist defense editor. There is something amusing about Europeans calling for talks. Lindsey Graham immediately calling them pathetic for calling for talks. And then the next day, Trump tells The Atlantic that, yes, he would like talks with Iran. So the Europeans called for talks yesterday. Thank you, Flocking. European call for talk yesterday. Lindsey Graham, Trump's big defender in Congress, came out and said, that's pathetic. They want talks. And today, Trump has called for talks with Iran. So, haha. What else we got? B-2s were involved in the strikes. We know that. Interesting. What is that? The U.S. made one last attempt to bring parties closer, from the Wall Street Journal. It offered to pay for Iran's fuel needs during a 10-year-long enrichment pause Tehran would need to agree to. Iran said no. At that point, the U.S. decided diplomacy had reached the end. Oh, that's interesting. So basically, the U.S. said, okay, Iran, if you need nuclear fuel for, not nuclear fuel, but right, like, enriched uranium, whatever it is, for your scientific research, we will pay for you to buy the enriched uranium you need. You have to get rid of your own enrichment facilities, but we will pay for you to get your own the enriched uranium you need for scientific research. Iran said no. That's actually quite interesting from the Trump. I will give the Trump people credit for that. That's actually quite interesting, because Iran said, well, we can't get rid of it because we need it for research and this kind of crap. And the U.S. said, fine, we'll pay for it and buy it for you. And Iran said no. That is interesting. Well, again, Iran can't be trusted. Iran wants a nuclear weapon. I mean, they do. Again, I don't think they were ready to get one yesterday. But by the way, you may get a timeout too. I think this person's a Russian. I think that person is a Russian. Yeah, you're getting timed out too. Yeah, you're getting timed out. Yep. They're getting timed out. Oops. There we go. Yeah, anybody who says Anglo-Saxons, either you're French or you're Russian. Because the Russians always like to talk about Anglo-Saxons. The French do too, which is funny. Like, they sort of refer to us as Anglo-Saxons or whatever, or Anglo. Well, actually, it's more Russian than anybody else. I don't know if we still get Russians, though. Hard to say nowadays. Well, the Russian government would remember, actually, whatever happened to that woman on TikTok? Remember the crazy women on TikTok who were the two Russian women? And then one of them was actually in the UK. But remember? And she was talking about the situation in Russia and how we can get everything we want, but it's still really hard. And I was suspicious as hell of who she was. Don't hear from her anymore, do you? I forgot her name, remember? I'm forgetting what her name was. I got into a little pissing match with her because she seemed suspicious as hell. Anyway, what else we got here, guys? Let's see. Let me see here. Interesting. Let me see here. Interesting. Okay. This is a. Okay. This is an analyst that I don't know who this guy is, T. Greer, but he was retweeted by The Economist's. You guys are still there on YouTube. I'm not seeing any comments, which is making me suspicious on YouTube. Unless you guys aren't commenting, but it's a little weird that I'm not seeing anything pop up on YouTube. You guys are. I'm not trying to get fish for comments, but there you are. Okay, there you are. Okay. Yeah, I was getting a little worried. I was like, there was nobody commenting on YouTube. Had me a little suspicious there. There you are. Okay. So this is thank you says, this is The Economist's defense editor, who's very good, retweeting a guy and saying, fair argument. So the guy is saying, a consistent theme with Trump policy making across all domains is that Trump tends to demand the maximal aim and then climb back to an achievable one. You can look at this as taco, but you can also see a bit of wisdom in it. In life, a lot of opportunities go to those who have learned to forcefully ask for what they want. Oftentimes what you desire is really yours. You just need the gumption to ask. One can question whether this is a wise approach to foreign policy, but I do think it is Trump's approach to foreign policy. You will not get what you do not ask for, so demand the stars, blah, blah, blah. Defense editor at The Economist says, a fair argument here. That said, there will be very real consequences to wounding the regime in Iran, but not fatally, while urging Iranians to go onto the streets the minute the bombing stops. It will seriously complicate the public adjustment of war aims, and the nuclear program will still remain a long-term issue. He's not wrong, which is basically, You said you were going to overthrow the regime. You said you were going to destroy the nuclear program, but now you're going to damage the nuclear program. You're going to damage the regime, but the regime is still going to be there. You killed a bunch of them, so they really hate you now. And you didn't destroy their nuclear program, and you didn't reach an agreement on the nuclear program, so it hasn't gone away. Meaning, what have we accomplished other than setting them back further? And even killing the regime, you kill the leaders. Okay, I don't know what that accomplishes in terms of. It certainly makes the war effort more difficult, but does it make Iran less likely to cause problems in the future that we kill the regime? Maybe. I'm not convinced about that. Let me see here. Oh, there's a New York Times story today. Listen to this. Sorry, there's some other news. I have to get some of the other news just because. Kash Patel is our FBI director. He's the one who spent $75,000 on a plane to go to the Olympics so he could get drunk with our Olympic athletes. $75,000 on an FBI plane. Well, New York Times. Kash Patel's girlfriend seeks fame and fortune, escorted by an FBI SWAT team. Former FBI officials say Mr. Patel beefed up the field office staffing near his girlfriend and ordered a team to ferry her on errands and to do events. Wow. You may never have heard of Alexis Wilkins, but she's one of the best protected country music singers in the U.S. FBI tactical agents have ferried her to a resort in Britain before a dinner at Windsor Castle and to an appointment at a hair salon in Nashville. Last April, agents in 2 SUVs stood guard outside a senior center in Ronald Reagan's boyhood home of Dixon, Illinois, while she sang for a few dozen young conservatives. Ms. Wilkins, 27, is the girlfriend of Kash Patel, President Trump's 46-year-old FBI director, whose personal use of government jets and FBI agents for himself and Ms. Wilkins had led to growing questions even inside the Trump administration. When Kash got confirmed, life changed for her. To an extent not previously reported, Ms. Wilkins is escorted in her travels by Special Weapons and Tactics team members, SWAT members, drawn from FBI field offices around the country. SWAT teams are chiefly trained to arrest violent criminals, free hostages, and thwart terrorists. But Mr. Patel's demand that rotating SWAT teams provide his girlfriend with security for singing appearances, personal engagements, and errands is unprecedented in the FBI, former agents say. Oh my God. Cabinet and congressional, the spouses of cabinet members and even members of Congress do not routinely receive full-time government security details. After Paul Pelosi, the husband of then-Speaker Nancy Pelosi, a position second in line to the presidency, was violently attacked in the couple's California home, it emerged that the Capitol Police had placed security cameras at the house, but no personnel. Yeah. What a piece of work that guy is. My God. My God. He's got SWAT teams defending his girlfriend. SWAT teams. Jesus Christ. Unbelievable. Is this true? UK Defense Journal? Is this true? Let's see. Let's see. No, that's old. I don't know that I believe you. Hang on. Oh, interesting. The UK is helping defend the Arab states. Ministry of Defense for the UK. Today, a Royal... thank you for the gift there, Andre. Today, a Royal Air Force Typhoon operating from Qatar as part of the joint UK-Qatar Typhoon Squadron successfully took out an Iranian drone heading towards Qatar. So the Brits are defending the airspace, which makes sense, and shooting down a drone in Cyprus, same idea. And Cyprus has got a British military base, so that makes sense anyway. Okay. Well, that makes sense then. That's yesterday. It appears that a third naval vessel has been targeted about 40 miles west of UAE. So you've now got 3 ships already that have been hit. So, interesting. There's the map. That's actually very helpful. The map is very helpful. So all of that in the north is Iran. Right there is United Arab Emirates. You can see how, this is very close. This is, oh my God, 10 miles. How many miles is it? It could even be fewer miles. How many miles is that? I could look at the map and see. But this is the Strait of Hormuz right here. This is the area they talk about Iran shutting down because 20% of the world's oil goes through it. They're hitting tankers here to convince all the tankers and stuff not to go through. You close down 20% of the world's oil, and you suddenly make it very expensive. Gas prices go through the roof, which helps Iran sell more. Then again, the next move is going to be, blowing up Iran's oil facilities. But we may not do that because if we go after Iran's oil facilities, then oil prices go up, right? So we may not want to do that. All right, Strait of Hormuz is approximately 20 miles. Okay, it's approximately 20 miles. So bigger, here, we'll zoom out so you can see, right? Middle East, Greece is over here, Turkey, Africa, Egypt, Saudi Arabia, India, Afghanistan, Pakistan, Iran. So there's Iran in the middle, right up here. This is, right, Persian Gulf. And then, so this is all Iran's southern coast, Kuwait, Iraq, Saudi Arabia, Bahrain, Qatar, Dubai, United Arab Emirates, Oman. So you can see how everybody's here. Oman, Dubai, UAE, Qatar, Bahrain, Kuwait. You've got everything right south of Iran. Oil from all of these countries comes out here and goes right through the Strait of Hormuz right here, 20 miles space, even actually 20 miles from here to here. It's more like 10 miles from here to the Iranian islands, so even smaller. They've got to squeeze through this 10-mile space, and the Iranians right now appear to be attacking ships right here just west. So they're basically convincing the tankers it's not safe. Insurance costs will go through the roof, and people may stop shipping oil through here. 20% of the world's oil goes through here every day. So the Iranians are trying to basically cause hell. So, which again, possibly not a dumb move in terms of, they're trying to cause as much pain as possible. I was going to say it's probably less than 10 miles, yeah, because of the islands and everything else. Oh, it's shallow. That's interesting. Okay, somebody just said because it's shallow, they even have less than 10-mile area to travel in. Interesting. Okay, very interesting. Yeah, so that's very interesting. Oh, Iran's revolutionary. Okay, Phil Stewart from Reuters. Iran's Revolutionary Guard says we have hit 3 U.S. and U.K. oil tankers with missiles in the Gulf and Straits of Hormuz. Very interesting. So Iran is saying outright they're trying to stop the world's oil. We kind of knew they were going to do this. My guess would be, I don't know whether we've got room to expand, but in response to Iran blowing up oil tankers, the U.S. has got to respond. Now, frankly, there's an argument to be made for going after Iran oil refineries. The only problem there is then you've diminished the amount of oil in the world, so potentially prices go up unless Saudi Arabia or somebody makes up for it. If Saudi Arabia were willing to make up for the production, I would be tempted to say, Saudi, are you willing to pump more? Yes. Then we're going to blow up some Iranian oil fields. Allegedly, they hit British and UK oil tankers. Yeah, allegedly. Hey, but it wouldn't be a bad idea for them to go after, for the U.S. to go after, or Israel to go after some of the Iranian oil facilities and say, okay, you want to go after oil? We're going after your oil. That's fine. Yep. Well, no, as long as, there's pictures, but as long as it's confirmed, that's fine. Yep. Hey, stop, please. Oh, my God. The dog is, we're going to have to take her for a walk later. She's feeling much better, which is good, but also annoying. What else we got here? All right. I don't know if we've got much more of an update here, guys. I think we're pretty, yeah. Interesting. France is sending its Charles de Gaulle carrier strike group to the Eastern Mediterranean, interrupting its deployment to the Baltic. Interesting. Well, France may be worried about oil and everything else too. I don't know. Interesting question.
Donc, la direction de la Méditerranée orientale. Alors, on ne peut pas avoir l'air d'être indifférent à ce qui se passe, et on sait que les Britanniques sont proches des États-Unis. Ils ont peut-être eu un petit rôle discret dans cette affaire. D'ailleurs, c'est très imaginable, surtout dans cette région-là. La France est une puissance militaire et est une puissance très présente dans toute cette région. Le fait qu'il y a un mouvement de Charles de Gaulle, c'est, je dirais, C'est presque logique, c'est presque nécessaire. Il faut démontrer notre non-indifférence et aussi notre non-impuissance pour qu'on ne donne pas l'impression d'être des spectateurs de ce qui est important, mais qu'on essaye d'apparaître non pas comme les principaux acteurs, mais comme des acteurs.
Huh, kind of strange. What the French analyst was saying was, France is a power in the region. We need to demonstrate, because the Brits are probably working with the Americans secretly, but they're probably helping the Americans. He said, we, France, are a power, a military power in the region. We need to demonstrate that we are not without power, and we are not without an interest in what is, he said, that we are not indifferent to what is going on, and we are not without power to what is going on. That was, if anything, that was very French. Like, if I were the host, I would have gone, what the fuck does that mean? Like, why are we moving an aircraft carrier to the region? Are we preparing to go to war? Are we afraid that the oil is going to get shut off? Like, are we afraid that are there any French, I doubt there's any French bases in the Middle East. Maybe, but like, are there any French troops in the Middle East? I mean, maybe, but like, he didn't really answer the question of why would France need to move its equipment in the area? Didn't quite answer that. Anyway. Interesting, though, but like I said, not a very good answer. Oh, she's hearing the neighbors again. Oh, Lebanon. Hey! Lebanon, maybe, yeah. That could be. She hasn't done this in a while. She can smell the neighbors in the hall. And then I'm going to have to take her for a walk. All right, guys, I think this has been about an hour and a half. We've already updated everything going on. I'm going to call it quits. I'm going to take the dog out because she's having a Karen moment. Karen the dog. All right. We're going to go out. Yes, you are very... Oh, so it's time for her next installment of Medicine too. Alors, on va y aller. All right, guys. Nice to see you all today. As always, I'll check in later if there's news. If there's not, I'll come back tomorrow, obviously. But let's see. Oh, my God. She's just insane. All right. Have a good day, guys. Discord, I'll see you guys. Boop. TikTok, I'm going to say... And TikTok, you'll be last. YouTube and everybody, see you guys. Thank you. All right. Oh, my God. France has a significant military presence in the Middle East, 900 troops at 3 bases. Oh, in the UAE. That's interesting. Okay, then that's relevant. That is relevant then. I know she does miss the dog across the hall very much so. Oh, that's interesting. Okay, thank you for that, WC. All right, guys, have a good day.